Hello and welcome all to the return of everybody's favorite part of the week, the Roach Wiggle. It has been 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks since our last wiggling session. We have Zen Monkey, Joseph, I think I remember how to say your last name, Tevere, Jojo Bugs, LC, Anthony Green. Hello everybody, we got a lot of people here tonight. That's wonderful, right off the bat. I'm just curious when the last one was. It feels like it was forever ago. January 18th, which means it was, it's been 3 weeks since the last Roach Wiggle. Incredible. And yet here we are. Hello, Alan in Exotic Wilderness. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. It's a momentous day. It's been a busy 3 weeks, as I'm sure everybody... Was that in the midst of shipping for the auction stuff last time? Yeah, it was. That's probably why we did on the 18th and I didn't do it for a while and everything else. So let's see updates on stuff. Let's start with Angela and I's vacation. It was not what we expected. We were supposed to spend 2 days in Destin and it ended up being thunderstorms the whole time. So we didn't do that. We went to Graceland. Angela's a big Elvis fan. We spent some time at Graceland. I checked to see if I could get some Armadillidium vulgare from Graceland. Unfortunately, could not find any. It's actually quite heavily manicured in a lot of spots, and they probably spray for stuff there too. But so there's that. We then we spent some time with Alan. We went and did a little bit of bug collecting with Alan. It was actually quite productive. Going bug hunting with Alan. We found Porcellanites virgatus at a spot where Alan's almost never found them. Got some more Lygidium elradii for me to not kill. Some other misc stuff. It was pretty good all around. Then we went to the Georgia Aquarium, which was wonderful. Angela went to the aquarium in Japan, Okinawa, the Okinawa Aquarium, when she studied abroad, and she spoke very highly of it. I was like, look at this one, this one's bigger, and blah, blah, blah. And it's very beautiful. Georgia Aquarium is great. Though they got to keep the lights on is the bottom line. So, you got pop music playing, and there's this sponsored by so-and-so company. It's very Americanized, but, the exhibits are good. The animals are all good. I was very disappointed by their bug exhibit, which is just a wall with some pinned bugs and a picture of a Dynastes Tidius. And I don't know, I ran over with childlike awe, hoping I'd see something like at least, I don't know, maybe like a seedling that's not in culture, in the U.S. or something that was on, they maybe would have had a culture of it, or just even like a colony of hissing cockroach. Nope, no live bugs. It seems to be a trend a lot of places. Other factors aside, I think a lot of places, they just don't know how to display bugs. You got to go to like smaller insectariums for that kind of stuff. But anyways, dead stock. What's up, Kyle? Zero Cool Ninja 88. Hello, I'm bringing you all up to speed on what's up. So we got to feed living things, also true. I don't know. It was just, they had like 4 or 5 dart frog exhibits, and I'm like, I'm so over dart frogs. They're fun, they're colorful, but there's only so many times I can see a zoo with like a dart frog tank that has like a bunch of pothos and philodendrons in it and be like, I'd like see fancier setups at Reptile Expos, honestly, for dart frogs. So, but everything else top notch. Obviously, they're 37 or 67 million gallon open water reef tank thing was awesome, and the sharks, they're nice. I didn't see this when I went there years ago. They have a big, maybe a couple million gallons shark with hammerheads and silver tip reefs and stuff like that. Now that is a cool exhibit. They got a big ball of bait fish in the middle. You know, who knows what the sharks actually eat out of that. You know, they're probably so acclimated to getting fed by hand or at stations, they don't really go for that. But fun to see. Still part of the aesthetic. Very well done. I think that was actually my favorite part. Was the shark tank. So yeah, then we left Georgia. Next day we went to Tennessee. We met up with Mr. Sampson. I picked up some more quails and some bugs, and Angel and I got to go hiking up in the Appalachians for a bit. That was nice. Got some nice fresh air. It's basically spring there already, according to Sampson. It's like a week of cold in January, and then everything else is spring after that. So yeah, and then we headed home, and we actually got home a day early. Yeah, we kind of needed that. And then we took a staycation day, so that was nice. So I just can't believe how fast everything flew by. It was pretty nuts. So yeah, so that was the vacation, and now we're back to the grind here, and I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable in this this dwelling I've made for myself. It's too many things to manage and not enough space, and that breaking point is coming for the move. Angela and we're pretty set on moving to her dad's old place to her place now, and there's some logistics we got to work out on that, and there's some other things that are going on, but it's pretty much all but confirmed that that's what we're going to do, and I'm excited. We're very after that week. You know, we both had some downtime with each other, and some some spiritual healing and reflection, and just getting ready to move forward. And it kind of cemented that's what's going to happen, I think. And so that's where we're at. So we're just we're waiting for probate court. We have to talk with her brother about purchasing his half of the house basically, and half of the property, and then it's kind of go mode, and that's the worst case scenario. The best case scenario is that my parents end up moving into the property next door, and that opens up a whole world of other stuff, and we're really hoping that's going to happen. We're all going to go out there the last weekend in February and have a talk and see what can be done. And they that other property has like 10 acres of like swampland that they bought for hunting on it, and that's not worthless land to me, but to a lot of people it is, especially if they can't develop on it. But there's a lot of amphibians. There was a bunch of spring peepers in the fall when we went on a walk through the back of her property, and there's a big swamp proper with the trees and everything back there, and that's where the spring peepers and whatnot are definitely breeding. And she says she's seen salamanders out there. So if we that property ends up being in the fold, we're going to see what we can do to have it set up as like a land conservancy or something, so that it can't be touched or done whatever with, and basically keep it as like a preserve for those things which are all on the decline everywhere. And be nice to just sort of keep that for the future. So a lot of things. That's where we're at right now. We're on the cusp of all this stuff happening, and I just keep getting more bugs and just getting ready for the spillage over. And did my taxes today. I know this is delightful conversation, but really a lot of things have kind of moved forward in 3 weeks. Even if nothing's happened, it's not like, oh, we're moving out of the house today. There's still a lot of things. The ball has gathered some momentum. But I did my taxes. Things are looking good financially, so that's good too. Chain will welcome Chain, another person as who's this we got? Oh, Elsie, get some tips on Paranophyta, foremost on any other care for them? Sure. So they kind of like high air humidity, but semi-dry enclosure conditions. So like moist back corner, kind of medium-ish, lowish airflow. If you got dry house conditions, they're just kind of like, think about being in a rainforest or monsoon seasonal climate in Southeast Asia for a lot of those species. Of course, Formosatus from Taiwan, which is, I think it's like temperate monsoon or something like that. But think about like being underneath bark or up in standing bark on standing dead trees. So it's dry. It swells up with water when it rains, and then the water, evaporates semi quickly afterwards. But it's not like sopping wet. It's gonna kind of always be hydrating and drying out, but never getting bone dry and staying that way completely. So it's kind of like regular lobster roaches like Naphita, but not taking the extreme dryness that Naphita will. So it's not too difficult to accommodate. You just kind of have to get an eye and experience for it. And as for diet, they're not very picky. Same with Lirata. So that's my advice there. I don't know if they require wood in their diet either. I always have bark in with them, and it's kind of isopods. It's easier to see what they're eating. When you'll find their little frass pile with roaches, it's a little more difficult. Nymphs might be snacking on the poops as well. So anyways, yeah. So that's what's been up this week. Lots of bugs coming in. Lots of stuff coming in. Devin Noname sent me a nice box of some isopods that I either didn't do well with or that I haven't had yet. And among those is him and his daughter's creation of Armadillidum vulgare Arizona sun. What did I say, sunset or sunrise? I think it was sunrise. Arizona sunrise sounds right. Which is some sort of hypopigmented, maybe even simple recessive genetics, but since it's lower refinement, it's a beautiful mix of colors, a lot of gold and then sort of light gray and stuff. They're very beautiful, and so that will be a strain available when they get going, which they will, and then I'll be refining the mutation out of that, and they'll be picking a name for it, and we'll see how that goes. So good stuff. Some new Darkling beetles. I haven't. The one I have is Metalopora prunosa. I haven't submitted it to memory yet. Devin, if you're there, you can remind me what the genus is because I can't remember to save my life right now. It's Metapolora prunosa or something. It's a really weird Arizona Darkling that they got breeding sparingly, and they're really cool. They got that nice blush to them. It's about the size, a little bit bigger than your common mealworm, wider, and hopefully will become a member of commonly available Darklings. Pretty cool, I think. Devin and his daughter are definitely getting some stuff available, trying out, being even more adventurous than I am with Arizona species of stuff. Usually if I'm out collecting and I find something that's if it's not a target and it doesn't stick out immediately, then I may be inclined to not collect it or not give it a go, but they're definitely trying everything. Yes, roaches can have cypress mulch. Absolutely. I used to use cypress mulch heavily. I still do if I have run out of my other substrate mixes. Boy, am I looking forward to having just gigantic piles of all different substrate mix outside. I cannot wait for that day. My life will be so much easier. I just sterilized a bunch of bark in the oven earlier today, and it's always rotation. Sterilizing sand, sterilizing rotting wood, sterilizing bark, sterilizing leaves, sterilizing all this stuff. It's just constantly, especially at this time of year where it's like everything thawed out. I better better rush out there and get as much stuff ready and sterilized as I can. The other thing was a Zophobus species that not subnitans, it's another species. Was it subnitans? It might be subnitans. I think it's subnitans. Zophobus, yes, Zophobus subnitans. Other Zophobus species that they got larvae out of, and I'm excited. We'll always welcome more Zophobus. 3 species in our area. So apparently we need one more Zophobus, North American Zophobus species. Don't know what it is. Doesn't say on Bug Guide. I'm not going to delve too deep into it. So that's the other stuff. So yeah, did all my isopod husbandry. I can't believe it's already the expo again. I have the expo on Saturday. It's not going to be canceled. The weather's going to be great. So that's happening, and it's just go with all this stuff. And Angela hopes I can slow down once we move, but I may end up having to take like a month off after we've moved and got everything in to just be like, get on top of stuff and take some time to like relax and actually enjoy life for a bit. But every day might be enjoyable out there. I love that. That area is so nice, so quiet, so peaceful just driving out there and think about all the stuff I'm going to do to the land. What do you keep your Cetophyllus on, says Exotic Wilderness? Just rice. I get the big bag of it's some sort of, it's not a brown rice, it's like a wild kind of rice type thing. I can't remember what it's called. It's not basmati, it's I'm going to Google Costco rice. It's not plain bleached white rice. Here we go. Maybe it is basmati from Costco. Get the big bag. I use it sparingly for myself because I barely have time to sit down and make it. But that's it's this Royal brand basmati rice, and they love that stuff and nothing else. Just toss them on the rice. What are the smallest terrestrial isopod you have? No, I'm currently trying to culture Haplophthalmus danicus right now. Pretty comparable to Phasomia candida. It is my mission to breed all the small things. That would be Elumoides species. The new modern picopod would be my smallest terrestrial isopod. Second would be Platyarthris iacensis. And tied or a little bit bigger than that would be Platyarthris hoffmannsegii, which breed Alan, I need to get those lesser grain borers from you again. You're not going anywhere. You'll have them forever, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally. How could I forget? Alan was kind enough to give me a bunch of stuff too. A lot of Roach's Parcoblata, new, potentially probably undescribed Parcoblata. Lots of stuff. I'm running out of space, everybody. The isopod racks are, instead of being 3 at the top like that one, there's 4 in the basement, and I'm going to start putting, I have a couple of isopods in 5.5 gallons, some of the bigger stuff that needs a bit more space to get a good colony going. And I'm going to start putting those smaller containers now on top of the 5.5s because I'm like almost completely out of space. It's a problem. It's going to be by the end of the summer, especially after a Florida trip and all this stuff. It's going to be a problem. I used to be like, okay, this is the myriapod shelf, the chylopod shelf, and this is the beetle shelf over here. And now it's just like every ounce of space must be used at all times. So it's getting bad, but it really does look like we're gonna move as soon as we can, and the bugs are going to move as soon as the building's built, which is a whole other situation in itself because of the logistics of the money behind it. It's going to have to come from the sale of the house, but I can't sell the house until the stuff's out of it. There's a whole bunch of stuff, but we're working on it. Chain, yes, I do have Hoffmannsegii, and they are breeding slow breeders. Alan was saying that he thinks that they were seasonal because he only gets like reproduction during the summer or something like that. But I, after them not doing anything for me for basically since like the fall auction, When I checked on them yesterday to pack up some springtails that live in there, I let like 2 or 3 Invertebrata Graciolivata get in with them from when I collected them. And I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing, because now there's literally like tens of thousands of Graciolivata in the enclosure. And I thought they were affecting the Hoffmannseggi's like production and stuff, but I don't think they are. I think they're I think there may be a minor annoyance to them at best, or at worst. At best, I guess. And so, anyways, where I was going this, I did find I did find 1 or 2 babies when I checked on them yesterday. So they are breeding right now. I think they just like to be quite moist. And whenever I find them, it's those were collected. My neighbor's yard. He's got a bunch of like old like 2x8s or 2x6s laying around and stuff. And so they look really sandy soil. So I'll just go and flip them and look for the what's that, Tetramorium species E or whatever. And their little old feeding chambers and stuff where they dump all the refuse is usually a good number of Hoffmannseggi there. In warm weather, if there's been a reasonable amount of rain, it's not out of the question I could collect like 20 or 30 of them from his yard. They also occur in my yard too, under the rocks in the front, pretty much all times of year, but it's just so much easier to find them during the summer because they actually move. So Exotic Wilderness has some leaf mimic roach babies. Congratulations, reminding me that I may have killed my Rhabdoblata rustica for the nth time again, even though I split them. I am just gonna, putting this on the future site too, is I'm just always gonna recommend you need like 10 gallons of space for them to have a colony and to split them as soon as possible, because they crash and you can't pull them out of it. It's ridiculous. Elsie, I know they're easy, but any tips on Blabris atropos? Not really. They're pretty easy. Same care as like discoids and stuff. Maybe ventilation. Discoidalis and atropos seem to be the most dry tolerant of all the most of the Blabris, I would say. It's probably why they're found so far across the Caribbean and into Florida is because of that. Boliviensis is pretty tolerant too. Shane, just stay in touch. If I can't spare any from the colony, I can always go out and collect them too. It's just maybe like a half an hour to an hour worth of work. Again, it's very dependent on season and weather for finding them, but I at least do have a colony going. Iacensis are not the opposite. They're just easy. They just keep going. No seasonality to them, I would say. Exotic Wilderness is waiting on babies from Lyrida yellows. You're reminding me that I need to stop waiting and pair up male and female yellows from my separate culture cups. I should really do that sooner than later. Man, I really haven't had a good colony of Lyrida yellow in a while. They used to be one of my just like mainstays, and now I just kind of oversold and they crashed during the big stressy depressy, and I've never really gotten them going in good quantities. I just need to not sell them, because every time I get a good litter out of them, I'm inclined to sell them, and then the colony just flounders along. It's not like Caphorum or the regular Lyrida, where I always have a good number to spare. So I need to be more disciplined, is what I think. It's the Gyna curse. I can't have more. I always have one Gyna species that's not doing well, and right now, or strain. Right now, it's the yellows. It's a curse. So, website stuff. That's what I'm actually doing after I wrap up the stream. I'm going to be pretty prompt about that tonight. I'm going to get back to website stuff. I'm picking the pages. In fact, let's open up to a little bit of group input on this stuff. So I'll list off the current. Have the Vega that I sent you had babies yet? No babies yet, but lots of egg cases. And I think I've only lost maybe 2 or 3 of the Vega. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for straight out of the wild stuff. And I actually they're right there. I actually take care of them every day. I give them a light watering, so they're getting the best care that they can, basically. So we'll see what happens. But a lot of egg cases, healthy egg cases. So I figure it's a matter of time, and we hope that it's just a matter of time. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and open it up to some discussion here. I know we all love talking about the new website, but this is important for finishing up because once these pages are figured out and all the text for the pages are figured out, that means the last things that I have to do are flavor text for every species and strain of bug and picture tags, figuring out how that's going to work. But we edge closer and closer to the site being done, at least from a content perspective, and then it's just whoever Chris can figure out with the sort functions and all that other jazz. So a lot of people excited for the website. Trust me, I am too, but it's been a grind. I can't believe all the time I put into updating the availability and stuff like that. And the worst part is that I know that if when the site launches, the traffic is going to go through the roof for it, because everybody's going to want to see what's new. Everybody's going to want to, even if there are pictures, everybody's just going to want to look at the information and navigate and sort things. And I'm dreading that, and I need more space to be able to do photo shoots with JoJo and for my own pictures and for all this other stuff. And it's just, there's a lot of stuff, and hopefully a couple of years from now it'll be easier. We'll get out the other end of all this, hopefully, and I'll be alive. I can only hope to be alive by the end of this. Really quick, last thing before we go into just the quick site discussion of the pages. I've decided to, again, continue pushing things along and continue doing things that I have wanted to with my life. That I'm getting goats this spring. I'm on a wait list for 2 Alpine kids, bottle-fed babies, and they're going to go in the yard. They're going in my yard currently. There's the dogs, Nazik has destroyed my large native bed right off the patio, and I have to put up cattle panels to keep her and Victor out of the other bed and out of that bed and out of a couple of other places. And so I just figured, it was mostly early goldenrod. I'll put the cattle panels up. We'll keep the dogs out. I'll see what emerges in May, and dig up and repot what I want to save out of there, and then I'm gonna throw 2 goats in there. I gotta get this started, so that a year or 2 from now I'll be producing milk. My goats will be producing milk. Hopefully, I will not be producing milk 2 years from now. Anyways, so that's gonna happen, and in a perfect world, by this time next year, I will have the barn for the livestock will be tidied up and secured and made nice and pretty, with a 6-foot fence around the primary retention pasture where the dogs and goats and other livestock will be, and the bug building will be built, and I will be here sitting back and maybe talking about how I'm getting ready to hire Will or Alan or TJ, etc. Kyle's milk will be up on next auction state. Oh, no. That's right, I have to get the auction. I'm going to wait until March. Early March, we'll have the date for the April auction. It's going to be later in April. I'm not even going to try and beat out Tinley, Spring Tinley this year. The auction's its own big thing now, so it'll be in probably mid to late April. And yeah, so that's all that. Anyways, let's talk about the important stuff here. So currently on Roach Crossing, the major page divisions are as follows: home, terms and conditions, using the site, for sale, order/contact us, programs, care guides, research, scientific references, about us, and bounties. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, it's 10 pages. Or is it more than that? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 pages. A little bit of redundancy there. Moving into the future, I want to cut things back a bit for your major site categories. It's a little overwhelming. People who are looking for information will be able to find it, but for the basic newbie to the website, keeping it a bit more simple. So what I'm looking at is homepage, which will have has the mission statement as it currently does. Mission statements can be a little bit different as the business has evolved. The homepage will have links to social media. Instagram is in the plans. We've got the YouTube. Maybe even go so far as to do a TikTok, perhaps even. I will continue to defy Satan and not do any of the Zoomer style-esque TikToks. Shorter content, maybe showing, look at this thing that just closed today. Check out this new morph that I'm working on, etc. Casual, something that draws in views and clicks and all that other delicious stuff that will be needed to drive sales to afford an employee. But nothing over the top. I have one over the top thing planned for the future. It will have to happen after the building is built. I think everybody will get a kick out of it. Hoping for viral with this little publicity stunt. And that's all I'm going to say. And we're going to wait for it. And hopefully you all will enjoy it when it happens. And hopefully it will propel Roach Crossing into the future. Really, any extra money that I want to make at this point is for affording an employee. That's the only reason I want to scale things up is, the business as it is quite sustainable, but to make my life easier and to give another bug person their just dues, that's what it's for, basically. So it will not be Kyle's milking session. I pray to God it's not Kyle's milking session. I don't think that's allowed on YouTube. Wait a minute. You can't do that. That's illegal. Anyways. So getting back to the new pages for the new site. We have the homepage, mission statement, social, blah, blah, blah. Updates on shipping orders such as, oh crap, we got 2 feet of snow. I can't ship this week. Will go on that page in a more designated area than they currently have been. So it'll probably be front and center will be the mission statement, and then below it, two columns, one on the left with the updates. I hope to update it as regularly as I was updating the homepage on Roach Crossing currently, up until January 10th. So it'll be updated fairly. Not if you milk it educational. Anyways, so yeah, that and then socials will be next to that. So that's that plan. Moving on, terms and conditions, which that's done. New terms and conditions are all updated. That I worked on that last week and got that done, and so that's all up to date with stock purity, captive breeding, where to contact, who to contact, conditions, shipping, if you order and you're like, what are these little jumpy things in my order that I didn't? These don't look like isopods. There's a thing there that says, oh, these are springtails. It's one of these species. I feel like there was something else I was going to add here. Let's put Alphatobius because dubias and lobster roaches will come with Alphatobius. I haven't really used them in a lot of other stuff. But I do need to still list them there. Terms for the website about starter culture, starter colony, international shipping, etc. Now, historically, you're not taste testing the roaches. No, that's nothing too crazy. Hello, Hylas. Hylas, I hope you got my email about your outbound box. You have your replacement box is outbound, and hopefully we'll reach you in good shape. Anyways, so currently there's a terms and conditions and using the site page. I'm really thinking we're going to condense those, and Chris told me that we can do an anchor tag where at the top of the TOS page there can be a tag for international shipping. You click it, you get transported to that part of the page. Very simple stuff. That seems like a good way to do this. So using the site page can have, this is what the detailed species stats means. This is this stuff. This is how you order. Again, reiterating ordering, blah, 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 over and over and over again. So that, I think the using the site page is going to be condensed into the terms page. Anybody have any thoughts or feelings on that? Anybody here actually use the using the site page? Please type your comments if you've used the using the site page or even visited it. Because something that's annoyed me since the newest version of the site went live in like 2014 or whatever. The thing that's annoyed me is I have a drop down for detailed species stats, and it says to click, and there's a drop down arrow, and yet hundreds of people have asked me for information that's contained in that drop down. Well, what temperature do I keep them at? Is this easy species? You can do the sort by currently on the website, by care level, blah, blah, blah. But people were still overlooking that and didn't know it existed. Yep. So that's I'm tired of that. I'm sick of it. And that information is going front and to the right on every page. It's going to be even above the flavor text, below the Latin and strain names and all that stuff, but above the flavor text, it's right there. And I may reserve the right to stop answering questions in email. If I get an email from somebody that just says, species and is like, is this an easy species? I might just ignore it, or I might just say, go to that information is on the Roach crossing page for that species, and just to save myself some time and effort, because all of that will be there in depth. You will not find more in-depth information on that stuff anywhere on the planet. So it's going to be there. But anyways, enough about that. So with the using the site page does have some information that's handy. Like in that species stats thing, it says, the size in millimeters, and usually excludes the antennae, the cerci, or other body extensions. What does locality mean? What does oviparous? What does oviviparous type 2 mean? That's information that I don't necessarily want people leaving the website to have to look up. And so, it could go on the it should go in that page. And so using the site will have that information will still be on there. Anybody's thoughts on it being rolled into terms and conditions? I would rename the page terms and conditions to something else, but they are still terms. So I think that's where that information is going to go. So that condenses 2 pages or 2 headers into one. I like that, where it makes sense to do that. And I think that's what's going to happen there. Next up, for sale, self-explanatory, is going to have all the links to all the species, blah, blah, blah. Simple enough. Next, order/contact me. That's what it currently says, order/contact us. It's just me, so it's going to be contact me. And that's going to be, maybe last minute we'll throw around doing a form so people like, I saw your website, but I don't know how to order. It'll say you can email me directly at this email if you're a private individual, at these emails if you're a university institution, blah blah blah. Use this email, and if you want to, here's the form. Fill out this form with the quantities of species you want, and I'll get you your quote, your quantities and your zip code, and that might be good. It'll just forward a form to either of my emails. Simple enough. And a good option for people who are like, I was on your site, but I can't figure out how to order, even though I went to your order/contact us page and grabbed your email. I don't know how to order, even though it says on the page how to order. Anyways, salt, a little bit of salt from me there. So anyways, we got that. Care guides and research. So condensing the care guides and research page. Currently, the research page has nothing. It just has a link to the bladder composting video I was involved with a while ago, and then a little blurb that I did way back in 2012 on some actually there's some pretty interesting information here on some bugs that I found when I went to Florida and skipped my half a credit or credit class to do so, and wrote up this little article on the roaches that we found. I don't know if I'll keep that there. Unsure. But I would like to, some things on the list. I'd like to do some personal publications on parka on the wild habits and whatnot of parka. Like, for example, zebra seems to be a riparian species. That's information that isn't really published anywhere. Blatta is found in association with more moist wood, especially pine. It's more information you can't really find places. There's different ecotypes of divisa that are found in different places. That stuff, I would like to write a article on that, and maybe one day either through Auburn or somewhere else that information can be formally published in a publication. But for now, there's stuff like that I would like to put out there, and my future employee will probably be intellectually savvy. If it's going to be Will or Alan doesn't want to move to Michigan, but I'm going to offer him the position if Will doesn't want it, out of respect for Alan's credentials and expertise. And then TJ has expressed interest as well. So if Will and Alan turn it down, TJ will be coming on board. And I'm sure TJ would like to publish some articles about that stuff outside of his current website. General FAQ page could be helpful to redirect people with dumb questions from contacting you directly. Zen Monkey says, my best use for FAQ page in the past was to email a link to their question when they clearly emailed me before reading anything. Your answer is number 8. Here's a link to answer number 8. That's correct. I'm not putting the answer in this email, just the link to the answer. So if FAQ page, I think my approach there is, let's see how people handle the new site and can work off of that. And if people are like, if I end up getting, I'll make a little document for like things that people have asked me a lot that have annoyed me in emails, and use that as a sign that the site needs some improvements, and work off of that. If somebody's like, I don't really know how to use the sort function, and I get that email 5 times in a 2-month period, all right, we need to do a FAQ page. How do I use the sort function or something? That sounds like Oren in his books. Is written in this book I published years ago. I will redirect people to pages for stuff, but there's some ways of questions and inquiries I'm getting a little tired of doing. It's not just that I'm getting tired of doing it. It's that I have a lot on my hands, and I would like to make the process as efficient for all parties. It's not just about me. It's about the customer too. And I want to make the process as easy on them while also making it easy on me, is the bottom line there. So anyways, care guides and research page, all the Roach Crossing care guides will go on there. The big one, I'm sure I will start itching to do an isopod care guide once the new site is up and I have some semblance of peace in life. I'll do another fundraiser to say, hey, I need to take a week off to do this care guide if you guys want an isopod care guide. a standardized one. And then on every single Roach page and every single Isopod page, either the top or the bottom, haven't decided yet, there will be a link to the care guides page. I want clicks, so I'm not going to link directly to the PDFs, but a link to the page. I think. Anybody have any expertise on whether that's a dumb idea or a smart idea? Just link to the PDF, Kyle. Let me know. Is it just me, or does the hose from the sprayer in the back look like someone drew a circle in paint? Oh yeah, like the weird, like it's not perfect. It is the definition of imperfect. Yeah. Thank you for that witty observation, Alan. Also, reminder, anybody like the stream, if you could, if you haven't already, appreciate it. Actually, I think I need to go ahead and do that too. So anyways, care guides and research will be care guides, general Roach care guide, general isopod care guide, general stick bug care guide, general whatever care guide will be there. And then below that will be sort of more higher caliber, not higher caliber. The care guide, the Roach care guide is very good. More dry reading stuff that I will publish out of interest, or that the employee or other people that I know will publish out of interest. Maybe Alan needs money for some new whip spider, and I can say, all right, we'll write a general care guide for whip spiders, and I'll pay you for it or something, just to give people with expertise, some funds for their expertise. And then of course I get to reap the benefits of having a really good care guide for stuff on the website associated with Roach Crossing. There you go. So care guides and research. Next, reference materials. This may not need to be a major category. I'm thinking now that I see it and say it out loud, but I want to, my husbandry stuff, or husbandry taxonomy stuff is, let's see, right now I have care information derived from 14 years of experience keeping, breeding, blah, 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 insects, maps for species, using information. Again, I don't think the maps are going to come back in the near future. Maps were great when I had 80 species on my plate, most with supposed IDs. Of course, now there's a bunch of shakeups and IDs on some stuff. They were great back then. It's not going to be feasible for a while, guys, to do maps, and it's probably better that way. But again, this page is going to say, there's information on the proper nomenclature for stuff taken from the cockroach species file online, ranges and stuff, and some habitat information for stuff is taken from Bug Guide and from iNaturalist, gleaming stuff like, some dude in California just sent me some Liridoblata. They didn't send me a habitat picture. I wonder what their habitat looks like. Go to iNaturalist. Oh, look, it's trash on the roadside in a scrubby part of California. All right. And that information will be incorporated into the flavor text for that species, barring my own experience, in which case, saying, oh, we went to that the creosote or mesquite thicket in Monahans, Texas, before they bulldozed the whole lot, and under the trash and the pieces of wood in the lot there was Parcoblata deserti. That obviously I go with my own experience with stuff before over having to look things up on iNaturalist, etc. But at the same time, it's really nice to be like, I wonder where Pachnota savignii can be found in its native habitat, and then go to the page and look, they're on there's a dead one next to a trash can in Egypt. Oh, there's a bunch of them on a piece of fruit, in downtown in Cairo or whatever. All right, there's some information that I can share, not based on my personal experience, but, using IDs that I've confirmed to the extent of my knowledge, that other people I know have confirmed, and then iNaturalist records, which is wonderful for helping out with some of this stuff. I don't know where I would put that into. Reference materials? Maybe even at the bottom of the homepage, I could do that to save to save some space, I'm going to put a little note here on reference materials that I could put that at the bottom of the homepage. Anybody have any strong feelings about that? About where you'd like, should they be their own page? Should it be roped in with something else? I feel the bottom of the homepage is pretty good. Billy RC, time to eat dinner night. Billy, I think you're a new user here, and if you're not, sorry for not recognizing you, but thanks for joining in. I appreciate you popping in for the night along with everybody else. Joseph Tevery, please correct me if I'm saying it wrong. I'll remember in the future. Hey everyone, Green Beeble. Anyways, so yeah, I might rope that into the homepage at the bottom, where underneath the mission goal and stuff, all information was taken from my blah, blah, blah years of work with insects, the passionate hobbyists, which I am with whose thoughts I am constantly deluged, cockroach species file online for taxonomic information, bug guide and iNaturalist for additional natural history, etc. Correct, sir. To which one is it? Tevere or Tevere? I want to say it's Tevere or Tevere. Just let me know which one's the right, which one's the wrong. Anyways, yeah. So that seems like I could put that on the homepage at the bottom of everything. This is where this information comes from for stuff that's contained on the site. All right, next up we have the About Me. This is important. I'd like everybody to get a up-to-date new people to the site, an up-to-date information about yours truly. Vote for homepage. All right. Yeah, let's do a vote. I'll leave it up for a bit too, at least until the stream wraps up. Should scientific references be its own page or the bottom of the homepage? Homepage. Bottom of homepage. All right, poll's going up. I'll just leave it there. All right, about me. I got some refreshers I got to do. Got a lot of refreshers. I think the last time I put anything new on here was 2021 or 2022 with a gorgeous picture of my front yard. Oh, man. I cannot wait for summer, and I cannot wait to terraform a property. I cannot. On page 100% so far, 50-50. Okay, I only got like one vote. All right. Gosh, it's making me miss all my plants. Get a little mad at Nazi for plowing through all the ones in the backyard, but in the end, maybe that was the cosmos telling me that I needed to do something else with that space, at least before I moved. And besides, if I throw goats there and I move, something's going to grow back in its place. And whoever moves in, I can always be like, got this big fenced off garden. It's not going to be fenced off when I move. I'm taking all the fencing, all the reasonable fencing when I move. Although I'm putting in a bunch of T-posts, cattle panels, and those V-clips or whatever to hold the cattle panels on. A lot of people saying own page. Don't know how I feel about that. Vote for homepage. Anyways, but I'm taking all that fencing with me when I go. They can put up their own fencing if they want. I'll probably leave some scraps of stuff if they want to fence off here or there. All the fencing around the yard staying in place, but I'm going to take the cattle panels. I'm going to bust my butt putting in March. Anyways, I'm getting derailed here. Getting a little off topic. The About Me page is needs an update. For example, somebody approached me about playing Overwatch, and I was like, I actually haven't played Overwatch since the disaster that is Overwatch 2 happened. Actually, even before that, I think I haven't played Overwatch since like mid-2022, actually, now that I think about it. So some stuff needs some major updating. Like that picture of me. Oh, it was so young and chipper. That picture's got to be from like 2013 or 2012 of yours truly with my old that really clunky, expensive display. But look at all the roaches I crammed in there that nobody wanted to buy back then. Yeah, we're gonna upgrades, people. We're gonna update all this stuff. I say over 100 species of cockroach alone are regularly available from Roach Crossing. Yeah, it's like 300 strains now. We are way past that. Hylas misses Overwatch. Don't be sorry because it's over, Hylas. Be happy that it happened. Eventually, there will be another FPS of that caliber that will sweep the cultural zeitgeist and not get ramrodded into the ground by corporate greed and a bunch of other stuff. It'll come. These things. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. 6-2 in favor of its own page. That's rough on what I was expecting there. Over 100. Yeah, it's been so long. Overwatch is over. It's over. Yeah, geez, that and Primal Carnage. I had some fun times in Primal Carnage before. A similar thing happened. I should not be talking about gaming on my bug stream. That's something. We get to 1,000 subscribers. We have a couple of really quick, as an aside, give people some motivation. Roach Crossing hits 1,000 subscribers. We'll do another Roach Crossing After Dark style video. It has been suggested to me that I do a Roach smash or pass. I have far too much respect for roaches to do that. However, isopods are fair game. So, 1,000 subscriber special. We'll do a Roach Crossing After Dark with a isopod smash or pass. Just do what your heart tells you. Thank you, Orang Mango. Maybe I'll go off on. This is the second FPS type game that I have watched be destroyed by corporate greed in my lifetime. First Primal Carnage, and now Overwatch, and who knows what the next thing is. These TF2. I've never actually played TF2. I love the lore and the culture around it and all that jazz. But as I understand, the TF2 is a very devoted community. It's still going strong. It's a little intimidating to try to get into that, and I am in no position to get myself addicted on any sort of new video game at the current time. So, democracy wins. Yeah, no. So maybe I'll put the references at the bottom of the homepage. It's kind of something people would probably want to know up front. I don't know. But anyways, the About Me page needs to be updated. And then when I get a full-time employee, it will transition from an About Me to an About Us page. And their information will go on there as well. And that way they can, in Will's case, I know Will has a bit of feelings about, how do I say this without sounding conceited, even though it's the very essence of the thing is a conceited topic. Will wants to do his own thing. I greatly respect Will's knowledge of pseudoscorpions and everything that he's done at the scale he's done it, because he has different priorities in life than I do, and that's fine, or at least different way of approaching his priorities than I do. But Will does not want to just be an extension of Roach Crossing in terms of his intellectual pursuits of pseudoscorpions. He wants to be his own thing, and I want to let him pursue that as much as I can. Even though, that being said, whoever works at Roach Crossing, it's not all going to be sunshine and butterflies. There's dead roaches that need to be picked out, containers that need to be scrubbed, substrate that needs to be moved, sterilized, racks that need to be cleaned, all this stuff. There's going to be just as much muscle and grit work needed as higher intellectual pursuits of, let us see how we culture this thing. Well, at the same time, you do get paid to go after those higher intellectual pursuits when all the other work is done. That is part of it, and having the resources that will come with a full building and containers and enclosures and temperature control and all this other stuff. So, trade-offs. Orang Mango got some Goliathus Regius larvae. I have never kept Regius, and I've only gotten 2 or 3 Goliathus to adulthood, and I'm going to try them again when I have more space because I'm kind of annoyed with seedlings that take a long time to mature. I'm waiting on some Cinerina Torcata Intergrades to eclose right now, which I purchased from somebody last year at this time of year as L3 larvae, and 2 of them matured into a little tiny pair, and the rest of them decided to say, we're not ready yet. We need a whole year before we mature. Even though you've got us on great substrate and great food, and the other 2 already... No. We're going to take our time before we mature. And so they finally all just decided to pupate a year later. So that's great for me. Just great. And I'm annoyed with beetles that do that. I might like the Tripoxylus. I like 6 months from egg to adult into more eggs. I like that. I like my other smaller seedlings. I like that. I'm even annoyed with the Euphoria. The Euphoria Monticola. For a tiny beetle, which by the way, which does have the prettiest blue I've seen on an insect, the Euphoria Monticola blue mutants that popped up in Allen's stock, the prettiest blue on any insect that I've seen so far. Definitely, it's rich, saturated, very vibrant, even better than on the Cedoniscoma, in my opinion. But 1 generation a year, and it sucks. So I'm tired. I don't like that. I'm impatient, and I don't like it. So I'm holding off on Goliaths until I have more room, and it'll probably be a whole rack for trying to propagate a good number of Goliaths commercially, and blah blah blah. I'm having fun with my Dorcas Titanus Palawanicus right now. That's my hyperfixation for long-term beetles at the moment. Anyways, so about me. The bounties page will return and will get updated. That's it. I will always have bounties out for different things. And hopefully somebody will find the site. Some aged professor with something that I want will go out there and be like, we've had a colony here for 15 years. That's not very long. For 30 years. And I can send you some. I'll send you a whole box of them. Perfect. That's what I want with bounties. And then, of course, all this other stuff that I have that somebody would be like, well, yeah, I got this from you a couple of years ago, or my friend got it. Somebody on Facebook just said they have it and they want to claim that. Perfect. Exactly what I want. And that's how it shall be. And finally, the last of the pages on the new website will be the social media page, which will contain, again, more links to all the social media for people who did not find them on the homepage. And again, this will be important for powering the social aspect of the business, which I will be looking more into in the future, producing regular content with a full-time employee, all that other stuff. And that's that. So to refresh everybody, here's the pages. And we have the homepage, potentially with reference materials on it. Scientific references, reference material. I should have worded it that way in the poll. It's not scientific references, it's reference materials. That might have changed the outcome, but we have 3/7 for the bottom of the homepage and the other 7/10 for its own page. I'm going to have to deeply consider that. Anyways, homepage, reference materials, maybe on it, I don't know. Terms and conditions. Using the site will be rolled into terms and conditions, barring people saying that's a horrible idea. And in fact, that seems like something that I could put as a poll up during an auction to get a larger survey of people. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll save that till the auction to finalize, because if I write up that information, whether it goes on another page or on its own page, it just needs to be written up and it'll go somewhere. Just depends on where. Mallow86 says, first time checking in. Welcome. Good to see you. Welcome to to a rather dry episode of the Roach Wiggle. My son recently got 4 hissers that helped open our eyes to all other little bugs that we would usually not pay much attention to. are excited for delivery from you tomorrow. Which order did you have? I can't remember what. Well, don't dox yourself, but I'm glad that you are very enthusiastic for your order arriving. Hope everything. The weather is really good. I expect very few DOAs, and I hope that they bring you as much joy as I hopefully hype them up to be. But fortunately, with small stuff, when you already got big stuff going, it's really toss them in and see how they do, especially with roaches. A lot of ice pods do really well with roaches. Anyways, so again, pages on Future Roach Crossing, home/reference materials, terms and conditions, for sale, order/contact me, care guides and research, about me, bounties, and social media, which would bring us to 10 pages. I feel like that's enough that people aren't overwhelmed by a billion things on the top. And I was talking with Chris about, the social media will take the thunder out of blog posts, because if I'm updating there, I can say, look at this new project. It came from here and I'm doing this with it, blah, blah, blah. That is easier than writing out a full blog post. And more up-to-date, more critical news like upcoming auctions and shipping information will be on the homepage. So as much as I love doing the blog posts, and it was great for getting constant new content on the website, I think that the social media is going to take that, and I don't want people to see it as a decline in quality. I will still go on my rants about stuff. I will probably do articles. I'll maybe do an article section or something about things that I need to write a bit more than you can convey in social media about. But the time for that kind of passed for more in-depth articles. We're kind of past that for now, and moving into Roach Crossing needs to gain as much big traction as possible, so I can get the full-time employee, give them all their sweet benefits and a good salary and all that other stuff, and so I don't go crazy with obligations and other stuff also, because lately it really feels like I'm going crazy some days. So that's where we are. Again, I loved doing blog posts. They got some life on the site when it really needed a renaissance, and but the time is past for that. It's about clicks and traffic, and all the old guard folks, such as the people who are on the live stream now and more. You will be able to eat your heart out. There's so much information that's going to be on the new site. It blows my mind thinking that all of it's up here, and also that I've had to digitize all of that. Everybody will be eating good, but I need to engage not just the younger audience, but I need to make content in an easy way for me. Not just content, that makes it sound dirty. I need to show you all what I'm doing frequently and in an appealing format. Children can be free labor. I'm teaching BHJR. I don't know how to say that. Takes so long to grow them. In the world we live in today, is a vicious place for the individual, and my kids, God willing that everything goes well with that, will be paid appropriately for their labor very early on, so that they do not undervalue themselves, because we, going into the future, will likely be facing a competency crisis on a societal level, and they need to know their value should they decide to not take up the family business. They need to know that what they're doing, everything they do, is worth so much, because businesses and corporations and blah, 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 whatever talking points about that stuff are very eager to take advantage of people now. Our society is a very work-focused culture without taking into account everybody's emotional, social, and spiritual needs. The only way to fight back against that is to empower people empower people's labor and truly reimburse them for the time and effort they put into things. None of the, if you're thinking about work when you're off the clock, you really should be getting paid for it, other than a little bit of chit chat about how work was that day, or, and just thinking about something. You gotta take some initiative as an individual in a business, but you also got to look out for yourself and your friends and your family and make sure you're not getting, worked to the bone and not being paid for it by an entity that could care less if you drop dead tomorrow, is the moral of the story. So that's my intention is, hey, kids are gonna, if they want to, they're gonna do some work, they're in their allowance or their what have you, but they're gonna get paid for it too from an early age, so that they know they're worth. So maybe same with a future employee with stuff is, you're gonna, whoever you end up being, you're going to have your salary, but if you end up falling on hard times, or you need a little bit extra to pay for something, when you help to produce the bugs and the bugs are produced in-house, you can be a little bit more generous with that sort of stuff. And so you could do a sale or an auction, or give you a group to sell of your own volition and whatnot. We got to help each other out in every way we can here. So yes, I hope to share the love in the most industrial and means of production way possible, while also drawing some firm lines in the sand. I'm really hoping that things will work out well, just in general with this stuff. But anyways, yes, kids will hopefully we'll see the low-hanging fruit in front of them for their potential future, and go for it. But until then, can't ride on that. They're going to be their own people. They could become obsessed with roaches, or God forbid, they could end up falling in love with ball pythons. Might have to put them down if that happens. If they start breeding morphs of ball pythons, that might be where I draw the line. We're going to have to take some dramatic action in that situation. But anyways, I kid. So that's what we're looking forward to on the new site in terms of new pages, reduction of stuff to a new set of pages is this 8-9-ish things, and we'll go off of feedback from there. Not a snake. I love snakes. Ball pythons, spider morph ball pythons. Woot! I would like to keep a ball python, but I want one fresh out of the bag from the imports, and I want them to tell me the town it was collected in is what I want. If I get a ball python, is I want the brown bag special, and I want to know the rock it was collected under, and that's what I want from a ball python. And I will not put too much effort into acquiring one until I get that. Plus, the market for ball pythons is crazy saturated, but it's really interesting for people who have been in. I'm going to wrap the stream up after this discussion point, but if anybody here's been in the reptile hobby longer than I have, I mean, it's been like 20-ish years at this point of going to pet stores and watching. I didn't go to my first show until like 2008 or 2009, but watching trends and stuff. You got your corn snakes, you got the leopard geckos before then. Boas have had their time. They're still kind of around in good numbers. Bearded dragons, and then exploding onto the scene, crested geckos. And then, now for some reason it's been 14 years of crested geckos, and yet everybody still look the same. There's been no major innovation. You can get your lily whites and breed them together and watch them all die, or however that works. There hasn't really been a new big thing in a while, unless there's something I'm not aware of that other people are, like, oh man, everybody's getting into bohemian rap snakes or something. I don't know. But anybody got some insights on what's the current up and up now that there's been stagnation in pretty much everything else? Watching beardies go from being ubiquitous to the local expo to only seeing like 2 or 3 vendors have them has been quite interesting. I do want to get some Rankins. Again, I had Rankins, had to get rid of them during the big stressy depressy, and I would like some pure Rankins again instead of. Now I'm kind of. I had Pagona barbadensis too from a very shady individual, but I did receive my beardies, but I don't know what was up with them. They were so unhealthy. I don't know if they sat in like a dark room for like months before I got them or what happened, but those things were not, something was not right with them. And the set of 3 that I received were supposedly captive bred, but just were not, something was wrong. They like weird, holding their head in weird ways and not able to eat on their own. It was awful. So I mean, as much as I like to try those again, I don't think anybody's really got healthy stock of those if they even have them. Get one of Kevin McCurdle's contacts. I may have his last name wrong. The latest big thing is getting bitten by your pet cobra while you're high as a kite. Was there a recent thing that happened with that? I ask because I know one bug person or one bug collecting person who had or has an extensive collection of HOTS, and haven't heard from him in a while. So if this is a specific instance of something you're talking about, I would kind of like to know what's going on. Elsie says, if it's not too much work next time you take care of skunk roaches, Silver Springs, should you send a video or pictures because mine are doing better but still having a little die-off? Yes, Elsie, I'm not sure if you have my phone number, but if you do, shoot me a text. If you don't, shoot me an email, and I'll give you my number, and that way I can get a video of that. I don't know what Victor's barking at, but anyways, sounds like the dogs are scrapping over something. Anyways, so any final questions or comments on things, everybody? I'd like to. I think I'm going to wrap up the stream now. I'm pretty hungry. I think there's a salad waiting for me, which I can't wait for. I'm so hungry. But anything else on this first Roach Wiggle in 3 weeks? I'm really looking. One of the things I'm really looking forward to with the building is having a designated conference room or office room, so that the background here is very iconic, but I would like to bring us into the modern age again with a little thing I can display roaches or stuff I'd like to talk about in a separate inset. I don't know if YouTube even supports that. It might have to go to Twitch or whatever. I don't even know what people are using. I'll ask the Zoomies when I get to that point. And having good lighting, with a full, like an actual streamer with that stuff. And who cares if nobody watches the streams, or and it'll look nice at least. All you guys will see. You get to see every horrific detail on my face in even better quality when that happens. And again, good lighting without having the sun blasting into my face. And yeah, I look forward to that. And whenever the Roach Wiggle comes back from its inevitable hiatus, and switching on the camera and all that stuff and saying, welcome everybody, with everything all done. It'll be really nice to do that. A nice little cozy situation. So, all right. If there's no other questions or comments, concerns, thanks everybody for joining me for the first Roach Wiggle in 3 weeks. We'll be at it again next week, and no signs of stopping, at least until sometime in March, because coming up is the next Florida trip, and obviously there'll be a hiatus for that, and then hiatus of the Roach Wiggle, and then after a little bit for me to get stuff set up and blah blah blah. But here we go, getting through this winter. Not winter, because it definitely does not feel like winter outside right now. So take care, everybody, and until next time and beyond, may your cultures ever be bountiful. Good night, everybody.